Great. Welcome to this week's Journal Club. I am Mike. I am a PhD student from Naotsuchiya Lab Monash. And
Kyoko, a candidate student of PhD of Nao's lab.
oh, sorry, you freezed for a moment. Okay, great.
Oh, maybe
No,
connection is kind of unstable.
I see. No worries. No. Today we are actually talking about Kuhn's Landscape of Consciousness paper again. This time we'll be focusing on the 9.7 section on the relational series of consciousness. Just to give a summarize, the relational theory of consciousness is trying to define consciousness through relations. The question is, relation of what exactly? There seems to be roughly three big categories of relational theories. The first one is the context environmental theories. So they are saying that, looks, consciousness is really the interaction between our body, brain included, and the physical as well as social environment that's external to us. So it's essentially saying to some extent that the consciousness is not solely located in our brain. Because the environment plays such a causal role, if we exclude it, if we study brain in isolation to its environment, it's almost like lesioning the brain before studying or severing a part of it before studying it. It's a misguided process. So that's their perspective at the very least. The second category that I defined is what I call mental relation categories, where they define consciousness as the relationship between some kind of mental things. So for example, we have a example from structural realism, which essentially is saying that consciousness is a structure of the unconscious associations. And in fact, you can find the same structure in our neural processes or activities. So by studying our brain and the structure of our brain, we can understand the structure of unconscious association, and therefore we understand qualia. Great. Another approach to mental categories, mental relations, is inspired by quantum physics, where they argue that perhaps the cognitive frame of reference is important to consciousness in some way. I don't fully understand what they mean by measurements. Is it purely cognitive? Does it involve some kind of physical elements? Like if I probe the brain, does that count as a measurements that will change the consciousness? It's kind of difficult to say. I'm not entirely sure about that. But once again, it's about relationship of our cognitions, essentially. And the last category is the ontological relationship categories. It's saying that structure, processes, relations, these are the fundamental physical existence of our universe. So for example, one of them, I think the series called what is it? Heliomorphism.
Morphism.
Yeah. It's saying that structure is the fundamental aspect of physics. It's not matter, it's not energy, it's structure. And these consciousness is just a new kind of structure. Sure, it's different from energy, it's different from matters, but at the end of the day, it's part of it can be described under the structure, physical structure umbrella. And of course, processes series is very similar. It's just replace structure with processes. Processes, I think they define it as sort of a relationship of change. Something, something A changed to B from time point one to time point two. It's a relationship, right? At the end of the day. So that's the fundamental from their perspective. And that's almost all the series listed here. But there is one secret force categories, and that's Naotsuchiya's relation qualia structure approach, which is different because it's not trying to explain where consciousness came from in terms of relationships, but rather try to characterize qualia experience, like the experience of seeing something red, by relations with others seeing other colors or other sensations. So there's a differences in explanatory target, and the author seems to be saying it's mostly like a methodological
Mm.
approach to consciousness. I don't fully agree, but I can see where he came from. And yep, that's all the series listed here.
Thank you for very great summarize.
Oh, no. Uh,
Yeah, so you said the four categories. So first one, the environment one is Andy Clark's extended mind and Noe, it's out of our heads theory is contained, right?
yep.
Mm-hmm. And the second one is rooted structural realism.
Hmm. Yes, I was trying to put structural realism and the relativistic series under one umbrella, since they're all about the relationship of different mental things. But maybe because I don't understand the relativistic theory very well, I
Mm,
can't really say much about it.
me neither. And yeah, I understood that this structural realism is just characterized consciousness as a result of brain activity and neural activity patterns, and it's structured. That's only I understood. So yeah, I couldn't read that this is came from not this is related to unconscious thing you said. This is
Yes, yes.
was it
I,
written in Lilith one or others theory?
so if you look, maybe I will share my screen. It's easier that way. Okay, Qualia.
Mm.
I think, but what does unconscious association here means? I presume it's something almost akin to like priming, some kind of cognitive mechanism that's involved here.
Ah,
Um, that's my impression.
I see. I read this as a they state just um, informational structure in our context, in our context.
That's true.
Not
I mean,
sure.
on a practical level, it's probably roughly the same thing, right?
Maybe.
Um,
And so
hmm,
that's why I thought in your categorize, three categorize, now is kind of similar to the second one, the mental relations group,
hmm,
maybe. But of course, as you said, it's more methodological.
yeah. And it's trying to explain something different, which is nice, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, it's not fully like an identity theory of consciousness, as Kuhn would say in this
Mm.
paper. But
I
yeah,
don't think so.
uh, uh, yeah, and the final two, the yeah, ideomorphism and process theory are the
Mhm.
final category.
Yeah, for me, it's very difficult to understand the ontological ones, hylomorphism and process theory. Yeah, I was surprised that they, said when God exists, blah blah blah, something, right?
Oh yeah, that's yeah.
Yeah. Do, did you understand why it's,
I'm I'm actually very confused by process theory because they call themselves, well, so it was described to me as a
mm,
pan-experientialist ontology.
mm,
Um, they seem to separate experience from consciousness, which I'm not sure how I feel about
mm.
it. What do you think?
Pan-experimentalist looks like that, you know, back, the first of all, background is only human have the experience or mama or something, but pan-experientialist will, you know, allow other existence to have an experience, like, other animals and maybe more uh, stones or water or something, but I don't know. And that's the gradation or how strong it is problem, but I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like isn't experience just like consciousness? That's my impression, at least. It seems to be saying it's basically panpsychism for physicalists. It's saying that okay, if you don't like these mental aspects,
Mm,
you can they're actually all physical at the end of the day. So
mm,
everything have a little bit of a little bit of experience in them,
mm,
but not sure how to feel about it. Um,
but anyway, process theory comes from the process philosophy, so looks like it have very deep context. So maybe we cannot understand what it wanted to say if we
yeah,
don't understand process philosophy itself.
certainly. On the ontological question here, I actually was discussing with Now recently, because I will do a presentation next week on ontology.
Mm,
And we were saying that perhaps relationships is fundamental
mm,
to the universe. Um, Now, in this case, they are describing a physical relationships, both the helomorphism and process series. But for our case, we are thinking something that's neither physical nor mental.
so physical
Uh,
means like the neurons network and also brain to self, some kind of thing, which has a physical existence network consisted from.
yeah, certainly. I mean, it's not limited to brain, but brain is certainly one of the best examples.
Mm, 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 mm.
But for us, it seems that we don't have to be attached entirely to physical
Mm.
world. And
Because Korea itself is not physical existence, you mean, right?
uh, if you are a believer of these heliomorphism or process theory, you probably would say qualia is in fact physical.
Mm, 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 mm.
Or if you are not a reductive physicalist, you may say there is no qualia. It's just a bunch of physical processes actually.
Oh,
But but for us,
mm,
we don't want to. There's no point in making this distinction.
mm.
Um, it's
Oh,
we
mm,
need to see beyond this distinction. There are genuine differences between the mental things, qualia,
mm,
cognition, unconscious, and the physical things, table, rocks, brain.
mm,
Um,
mm,
but their distinction are mostly epistemological in the sense that they may
mm, mm,
fundamentally be the same thing.
mm.
Does that make
I
sense?
agree. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. So, but yeah, what I not certain about at the moment is that if relation is indeed fundamental to our reality, what
Mm.
is the relation about?
About
Does that make sense?
relation
So,
about.
so when we talk about relationship, there's objects and there's a
Mm,
relationship between objects.
mm,
Now, it's possible that these objects are relationship in of themselves.
mm.
So category series, functors,
Identity.
so on and so forth. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But the relationship has to be about something,
Mm.
right?
Ah, like similarity or such kind of
Um,
thing.
yeah, so if we think about color similarities, the
Mm-hmm.
similarity relation is about colors.
Mm.
If we think
Ah,
about, yeah, yeah,
okay. We are talking about the object in
yeah,
category
yeah,
theory.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
okay, okay.
yeah. So in a reality where the most fundamental thing is not an object,
Mm, mm,
but instead of relations, what is
mm,
that relations about?
mm, mm. Is it? Uh, I don't think I fully understand, but so relation about what is that relation about is what kind of relation are you thinking, right? So you are thinking about neural network relationship. It's a relation about neurons. It's not what
Mhm.
you want to say.
It's a little bit different. So maybe a good I'm not sure, but maybe a good example is
Mm-hmm.
that if you think as a physicalist, you may say, okay, so the most fundamental aspect of a reality is
Mm,
these subatomic particles, quarks, uh, these small physical objects.
mm,
Because big physical object is made of small physical objects, and the
mm,
smallest physical object is the most fundamental.
mm, 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 mm,
So in our case, we're not saying that. We're saying that the most fundamental thing is not the smallest physical objects or energy, but instead some kind of relationships.
mm, mm, mm,
And
mm, mm,
everything else is composed of these. Like the building blocks are relationships instead of particles.
mm.
But relationships must have objects.
Yes.
What objects would there be that would, you know,
So what you are saying is you want to find some fundamental or core or something in the relationship in consciousness
I think it's
because
beyond consciousness.
beyond consciousness.
We will be talking about general ontology, the existence. I mean, they are talking about, well, their focus is consciousness.
Uh,
But what they're proposing here is a general ontology. It's saying that for everything, from
uh,
cars to planes to consciousness,
ah, okay, I think I understood. So this kind of in these ontological theories, they are talking about the relationship or structure, but they are not mention what kind of objects are making that relationship and structure.
yeah, that's my
Mm.
uncertainty. Yeah.
Uh, I understood your uncertainty and I feel the same thing.
Yeah, because like someone like a PhD from a different lab,
Mm,
he's studying philosophy. He came to our
mm,
lab once and he talked about this specific problem that if
mm,
everything is relationships, You can have relationships of relationships, sure. But
mm,
then what's in those relationships? Or maybe more relationships. And you have a pyramid of relationships ever forever expanding
mm.
to the infinity because the relationship, more relation, more relation, more relation.
Yeah.
And reality is there's no bottom layer of reality
Mm,
if it's all relationships.
mm, mm, mm. Yeah. Mm. For me, it's natural to um it's it's not relevant to this paper, but for me, it's natural to um declare what kind of network we or what kind of relationship we are thinking. So in Korea structure, of course, for example, there is object is color and the
Mm.
morphism is similarity. So for me, it's obvious. Then we can say it's uh, relationship or its structure of color similarity. But in this paper, they don't say any specific things, but saying that I imagine that they are thinking about very, very, very big structure or contains everything or something.
Maybe. But they could be talking about like smaller structures. Well, you can have structures of structures, right? So maybe the
Mm.
big structure is made up of these small structures that exist at a more deeper level in some way.
So the meaning of structure of structure and of structure of structure of structure and how many times we can do that and how many times we should do that and how do we interpret these kind of meta structures?
Yes, exactly. You're
Yeah.
gonna have meta
Mm.
structures. Where do we stop, or should we stop at
Uh,
all if we are believing in these relation ontology?
from my understanding in category theory, of course, I'm not expert, so maybe it's wrong, but in category theory, we don't have to think about uh, meta category. So the smallest category is category, and the maybe you must know because you did the journal club or anything, but functors category and natural transformation category. So I understand these kind of three meta category can exist, but they don't think about more meta category.
Is there a reason why they don't think about it? Is it because there's no point in the sense that we already can explain everything we want with these three level of categories? Is that
I
why?
thought it's a very important point, but I forgot.
Oh,
But,
um,
but it must be wrong, but I think some duality or something was key point of that explanation.
hmm.
Du, du, how do you say in English? Double duality, duality of duality.
Uh, is there a word for it in English?
Uh,
Double duality.
so,
I'm not sure. Double
but
duality.
yeah, so there is some mathematical explanation. Double dual. It was correct. Double dual.
Oh, space volume. Space.
Mm-mm. Okay.
Okay, it's really abstract. Then.
Yeah, it's really abstract, so I don't understand that idea concretely. Okay. please leave it to me as a homework.
That would be great. Yeah, if you can teach us how to do it next time.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but yeah, regarding the paper, is there anything else that we want to talk about?
Mm, uh, maybe yeah, for me, it was the about the same series about Jaworski's hylomorphism. So
Hmm.
he said the mind-body problem cannot be mysterious if we stand the point of view of hylomorphism, but I couldn't understand why. So did you understand what?
I think he is essentially saying that how should I put it? So we think why there is a gap because they seem so different, right?
Mm-mm.
The material and conscious mind. Um, Table and chairs are similar in the sense that they're both made of smaller particles, so on and so forth. The mind seems different. But if we don't think about like whether the smallest material is particles, and
Mm.
we think about structures, the smallest material structure,
Oh,
then the mind is composed of structures. The table is composed of structures. Then they're
mm.
all same physical thing at the end of the day.
Oh. So
Does that make sense?
so he interpret that the mind-body problem is key is that their consciousness and physical object nature is different. So we think they are very different things. So then we interpret the both as a structure. They are the same. So there is no mind-body problem.
Yeah.
Mm, I see. Mm. I was this is overall feeling, but I was surprised that there is so many series. If we focus on only relational series of consciousness, that is a Cambrian explosion of the series.
Yeah, but I feel like I don't know. I don't like these relational series. Um yeah. I mean, other than of course now to chess, naturally. Uh
The reason is what?
but yeah. I don't know. It's just I I want to see the methodology of these series,
Mm,
put it this way.
mm, mm, mm,
Because at the moment, it's difficult to imagine. Like, for example, we're talking about like the context environment series. Okay,
mm,
sure, a consciousness interaction, body environment. How do you
mm.
measure, experiment, make predictions regarding this? What's
Yeah,
the restrictions here? It's not entirely clear, and it feels kind of
yeah,
not
I feel.
concrete. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So this idea is also very important and understandable, but it must be falsified or testable to the our experimental activity via the experimental activity. So we need some concrete hypothesis from that idea as theory to experimental things.
Yeah. I'm not saying they're wrong if they can't be
Mm,
operationalized and tested, but it doesn't feel as convincing as a theory which can provide these things. Is all. Yeah.
mm, mm, mm. That's a great point of now's approach, I think.
Yeah, certainly. But we haven't we haven't reached we explain what consciousness is element. We're mostly just borrowing IIT stuff. And maybe one day we correspond it with correlative structure. Maybe not, or some other structures. We will
Mm,
see, I guess.
mm,
Hmm.
mm. So yeah, I understand that the future perspective of Korea structure is compare the information structure from the brain activity and Korea structure from the psychophysics in the same person or same group or something. And if these two structures are isomorphism or something, then we can say this, uh, we can say something about Korea from the brain activity. And we can compare the subject A and B's informational structure. And if there is, we can find any isomorphism relationships, we can compare these informational structure. So we can say these Korea and A's Korea comparison, right?
Yeah,
That's
I think that's greatest strength of the qualia structure. Right? You can actually compare experience beyond intersubjectivity.
mm. So
Um,
then it's, I think the most close uh, theory among these introduced one, of course, instead of nouns, is mental relations one. So rooted structure realism.
um,
Mm. But he went off that idea.
uh, yeah. Um, yeah, it's a bit confusing at the end, isn't it? Like, because it says specific at the end that he changed his mind in some way,
But
but
I
to
cannot
what
find
extent?
the reason why.
Uh, hmm. Actually, I do have a question regarding the correlation between the information of the neurons and the cortical structure.
Mm.
What's the general purpose of these isomorphism matching? If they are isomorphic, does it what does it tells us exactly? Because I'm familiar with, you know.
Mm. Um, from my understanding, so because of Yoneda's lemma, if uh, there is a structure and there is an object, and if you can collect all the information about, relationship with this object, you can say something, you can say everything about the object. This is Yoneda's lemma, right? So, mm, and so if you can say these structures are isomorphism for each other, you can, you know, so there, if there is some, you want to go to neuron A to neuron B, some kind of information. So neuron A to neuron B in subject one, subject A, and so because it's isomorphism, so you can go to the another one.
And that's the qualia structure is on the other side.
Ah, it is also so, but I'm talking about the subject A. You are talking Korean and informational structures.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Then yes, yes, then yes, yes. The isomorphism
Hmm.
is a good point or definition or something, but is this is the same thing. If you go to go from neuron A in the information structure and go to the query structure, the response representative point, responsive point, and go to the color query B. And from information in informational structure, go to neuron A to B, and some transformation go to the color query B is the same thing because structure is these structures shape is same because of these structures shape is same. You can choose this way or this way. So this is kind of
commutative. Is
response.
that
Yes,
the
conditional responsive respondent.
okay? Right. Okay. So is it the general purpose of it? Is it to find the right neural substrates for core experience, like say color? Is that why? Because we can, if you know, if we see V1, V2, or other areas, and the
Mhm.
neurons are showing the same structure as the cortical structure, and we can point at it and say, okay, that's the neural substrate. Is that the
Mm.
purpose?
I think so, but I don't think it's limited to any neural substrate because maybe it's this object is not may not be a single neurons, but also some specific network of neuron or some patterns of activity. So we want to see any uh, correlation or response,
Mm,
respondent of any specific patterns or neurons or some substrates and any specific qualia. But
that makes sense.
we can do say we can't do that by one you know NCC project. So we think both as a structure, and we want to say these structures are same, then we can go each other. So
Oh, it's much more flexible than a traditional NCC approach in that sense,
yeah.
because your unit is not neuron or neural areas. It can be
Mm,
anything technically you want.
yes.
Um, hmm, that's
And
a
that
very large, sorry.
I'm sorry. Because why this way, this structural approach is going well, they think, is Korea's Korea's nature is relational.
So,
Korea is not one by Korea is not like a point, not a point, but a structure, the very relational thing. So we can't
hmm,
see any respondence between neural correlates, a specific neural substrate and specific qualia.
I see. Ah, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Really?
Okay.
Really?
I mean, to some extent, but I'm trying to acquire a general, big picture understanding. So I think it makes some sense that mm, uh,
Of course, maybe my understanding is completely wrong, and so please, listen to my explanation, just a half truth and half doubt.
I think I mean it sounds about right. Maybe I'm not an expert either, so I can't really say. But yeah. Do we have anything else to discuss for this paper?
Ah, mm, I think I could go through a whole the paper. So
Mhm. I,
for the chapter, of course.
yes, it's a very large paper.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, I think I don't have anything else from my side either. So if we are good, we will just call it off today.
Okay.
All right, great. Thank you for listening to this episode of Journal Club. We will see you maybe next week, maybe the week afterward. Okay, bye bye.
Bye bye.